title, The Golden Quiet, a countryside love story. In a quiet valley nestled between rolling green hills and misty woods, stood a small stone cottage with a terracotta roof and smoke curling gently from its chimney. This was the home of Amina and Yusuf, known to the nearby village as simply Grandma and Grandpa. They had lived there for over 40 years, ever since they'd left the bustle of the town in their youth, craving a life filled not with noise but with meaning. Their cottage was surrounded by a vegetable garden Yusuf had tilled by hand, and flower beds Amina had raised with the same gentleness she once used to rock their babies to sleep. Each morning began with sunlight spilling through muslin curtains. Amina would rise with the birds, wrap a warm shawl around her shoulders, and start the day with chai brewed on the old stove. Yusuf would follow, slipping into his worn slippers, combing his white hair with his fingers, and joining her on the porch. There, they would sit together, hands clasped, sipping slowly, watching the dew melt from the garden leaves. Their days were simple, rhythmic, like the ticking of the wooden clock in their kitchen. Yusuf would tend to the garden, humming old songs as he tied up the gourds or trimmed tomato vines. Amina baked soft roti on a clay stove in the yard, her bangles jingling like tiny bells as she worked. Sometimes, she would embroider colorful birds on scraps of linen, while the golden cat dozed at her feet. They spoke little, but everything between them was understood. When it rained, they'd sit by the window together, sipping lentil soup and remembering old days, their wedding, the first harvest, the birth of their daughter. Their photo album, worn and patched at the corners, held decades of smiles and silences. In the evenings, as the sky turned orange and the cows returned to the distant barn, Yusuf would light the lantern outside while Amina laid down 2 plates of rice and vegetables. Then, they would eat under the stars, sometimes laughing over old jokes, sometimes simply enjoying the sound of the crickets. Visitors came and went, children from the village bringing sweets or errands, their grown grandchildren on school holidays, but the heart of the cottage always pulsed with their quiet companionship. They lived not with much, but with enough, and in the hush of the valley, the world slowed down around them, a golden quiet where love lived in gestures, in soil-stained hands, in warm bread and shared silence.